And we're live for the mayor's update.
Yes, and it works. From across the world, we're together again. Perfect. Again, my internet may not be as stable as it could be, so
Mhm.
should I drop off tonight, Grayden will finish, but I think we're doing okay. Sounds good and feels good.
Yep.
Still in Europe, heading home from Frankfurt tomorrow.
Mhm.
It's been so busy. It's been quite good meeting a lot of people, certainly a lot of the PowerCo people and mayor and such in Salzgitter, but I can give you a
Mhm.
little story of each of those things. So
Very excited to hear
it's
about
been
it all.
extra special. Yeah.
Yeah, and just right out of the gate, let's talk about the snow plows because we've got
Yeah,
a
let's do
vote.
that because we need people to vote now.
Yeah,
We've picked the top 10 or the top 10 have been chosen.
yeah,
They weren't all by Graydon or all by me. We've done
yeah.
an assortment, but and you have to go onto our website now, right? And vote for the uh the top 10 and
I'll pop that link right in the feed here for the top 10. Yeah,
that's a great idea. How we're picking the top one or the top one of each sidewalk snowplows. Right? Okay, so the instructions will be there for you. But we've got, Betty Whiteout.
we got Edgar Allan Snow, General Plows Chicken, Sir Plows a Lot, Snow Thornton, Control Salt Delete, Furious George, Pushy McPush, Slush Crusher, and the Abominable Snowplow.
Hey, this is a creative town. We're pretty pleased with some of the choices here. So thank you very much for being in the year of the first year we've started to name snowplows. We're
Mhm.
going to pick the winners, and then we're going to tell you how we're going to do it and what prizes we might even have come up with for those that offered the names.
I hear the
Um,
prizes are pretty good.
yeah.
Pretty tasty prizes, some of them.
Oh, yeah. All right, so there's your link. Please go to it and make your votes. Looking for any questions we can do. All right, Brett asks, "What's the
Any questions you
council
got
doing
coming?
to support the people of St. Thomas amidst ongoing trade wars and economic fallout?" Well,
Mhm.
anxious to say we've been here for a number of days talking to our Europe customers, people who will PowerCo, who will be opening a very large factory to employ people in St. Thomas, and the logistics around that, and talking to Canadian trade and with Canadian trade people,
Hmm.
including ambassadors to many businesses in Europe to buy Canadian products, including those made in St. Thomas. A trade fair we're at, we certainly even saw some people from our own area there. Eton uh, uh, from Etbo
Mhm.
was there and selling his products, and certainly all of Ontario was there. Canada was there in a huge way, talking about being better trading partners with the EU. So we'll start with that, and we'll let
Mhm.
the other government levels of government, the federal government, the provincial government, come in with what they will do. And
Yeah.
we've had plenty of conversations with what we will need to do locally or could do locally, but we need to see what the effect is as we move forward.
Mhm. I'd say that's a really good point there in terms of like going to Germany, and I think you were a partner, like Canada's a partner during the Hanover conference.
Yeah, the Hanover Masse, it's a huge manufacturing show, 18 different buildings on a huge area. And Canada had a pavilion in almost all of them, but including the main one.
Mhm.
So different meetings set up between uh, different companies, like some almost speed dating, meeting
Yeah.
Canadian companies with customers from around the world. So it's quite a unique way for us to be here early in this tariff piece to find out, is there, are there more customers around the world for Canadian goods? It's very easy to sell something to a country that's very close to us, but
Mhm.
it sure is a positive, let's work together situation with the European Union at the moment.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and I've got connections in the trade shipping world. So if you need any of that, let me know. I'll connect you up with
Yes,
those people. Uh,
certainly, and we've made lots of connections with ambassadors and trade commissioners and those types of things. Sean Dyke is over the top good at stuff. I'm the mayor, but I'm learning a lot as to how you do some of this stuff, how we make those connections and turn them into sales for Canadian companies. Right.
Mhm. A question on what happened at council yesterday.
Well, I've got some of that here. I, of course, was not there. I'm here and couldn't participate, but Councillor Kohler took over as mayor yesterday and got us through a full agenda. So can I get to the right page here to talk about council? There we go. Yes. So there was conversation in yesterday's meeting about keeping of backyard hens. The council has decided against allowing backyard hens, certainly during a time of avian flu, affecting a lot of chicken flocks, chicken producers throughout North America. Adding this risk in Port Stanley right now is just not a great idea. So we're also not equipped at the city's animal service center to handle chickens in the case of issues of illness or abuse. So we just said, like we said a year ago, hey, not at this time. Let's look again in another little while.
Mhm.
The accessibility plan, the accessibility committee once a year delivers their plan to the city and tells us what they've been working on, what they found, what we had corrected out of last year's plan, and that plan is available for you on the agenda.
Mhm.
We talked a bit about from an Indigenous point of view, a gathering place. It's something that was brought up last year at the Indigenous Day, Orange Shirt Day, and we've started to look at how can we include that. Can we have part of one of our facilities that is also a gathering place from an Indigenous point of view? No decisions made on it yet, and certainly nothing in the budget on it yet, but conversations starting. Right, so. We have done another transfer payment agreement on the Yarmouth Yards. No, this one is a transfer payment agreement from the court security and prisoner transport from the province of Ontario. The city will receive $686,953, which is an increase from last year's allocation of a little over around 20,000. It still has a bit of a shortfall, so we continue to talk with the province as to why are we funding other communities. But
what is that money for?
Court guards, transfer of prisoners from the detention center in London or from our police station to the courthouse and back, and court security.
Mhm.
So again, we use some of like our special constables, also as court constables.
Yeah, last week I got called in for jury selection.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Well, I didn't get picked because I knew one of the counsel who's a friend of mine. So if you know one of the lawyers, you're not included.
No, you know anybody personally, you're not going to get to be, and you have to agree to that, and you have to say this is what happened, right? So
Yeah, but it would have been 5 weeks starting right then. I would have been in Elgin County Courthouse every single day.
Yeah, well, good fun, but I'm sorry you got to miss it. I know that you're a real busy guy, so you would have been right.
It would have been a scramble, but yeah,
Right.
it's one of these days I would love to participate. I think it would be a fascinating experience.
A couple of other things off council last night. MTO project update on the Highway 3 Talbotville bypass extension of the Highway 3 that is working, moving forward. Some construction will start certainly by summer of 2025. Very big projects, so we'll have to see as they flow how and where, what pieces of that does. But if you've driven down Highway 3 recently, you see they've started to clear off what would be the other 2-lane section. So they are moving forward. The city flag review. There's been an
Yes.
ask from our group at DDB, and I was happy to hear about it. That have started a conversation about should we replace our city flag. I personally don't feel it represents us well. It's a great, it's got some symbols on it and it's a good color, but I don't think it doesn't scream out St. Thomas to me. So we'll find out. We'll put it to the people and ask the question, hey, what do you think about our flag? And if the answer is we'd like to get some new ones, we'll run a little bit of a contest on that, I think. So
It'd be quite fun.
So we have some upcoming flag raisings and proclamations. Beta Sigma Phi on April 28th, and a couple of other that are coming up early in May. World Press Freedom Day on May 3rd, and on May 5th, Mental Health Week. So we've got lots going on. Of course, future council meetings. April 14th is your next one. First 3 Mondays of every month, except this month because there's Easter Monday. That week, council will be on a Tuesday.
Yep, and we've got the Easter egg. Yeah, thank you, Mayor. We've got the Easter egg hunt from the Kinsman, which is coming up on the Saturday of the Easter weekend.
Yes.
So,
yes. Well, coming up this weekend, if I can get back to St. Thomas and get a couple hours sleep, we've got the home show Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. Or Friday night, all day Saturday, and Sunday day. So looking forward to meeting all of you there. I'll be there answering your questions too, as much as I possibly can. I know the DDB also has a booth, and I will, because I sit on that committee, wander around and work with that a little bit too. So looking forward to it.
Always a great weekend, and Angela and her team, Kim Gordon, this year do a fantastic job putting everything together, bring all the vendors together. It's packed, like Angela was saying. There's going to be a tiny home there, which is one of these ones where you can just have it basically dropped in your yard. It's good to go, so you can go into around, see if you like that, which is fantastic.
Well, sounds great. Let's get more people giving accessory accommodations and housing in our community. So we've working forward and working well on trying to eliminate homelessness and add quality housing to our community.
Yep. And Sharon Montgomery Anderson is saying she did jury duty twice. So we should have you on to talk about that, because that would be an interesting.
I've only been asked once before, but I was a member of parliament at the time, and it's another one of those exemptions. You're not allowed to be on a jury. I'm a mayor now. I don't know if I would get to do it now or not.
Right.
I think it would be fun to do, or at least it would be a unique way to see the justice system in Canada. So, twice, Sharon, congratulations for helping out your country that way.
And Rob saying his dad was called for jury duty a year after he died, and needless to say, he got out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I've got some. I can go back to some other things that are going on in town, or other things that came up from not just the council meeting, but
Brett Longfield is checking in about the secondary plan. It's my understanding that's still in development.
I've been away this week. I can't tell you any update besides I know we're working together with the owners of the property, not just the Terry group, but the other people, and trying to get interest from others besides just the Terry group on the secondary plan. But we'll start to deliver it as soon as the group starts working together with the city planning department. But I'll have more. Look, I'll make sure that we talk a bit about it this week once I get back. And I would expect that the home show, talking about homes, it would be a good thing.
Absolutely. Now, you were over at the PowerCo facility. I saw some photos online.
Yes.
You got to see some of the process behind their facility there in Saltscatter. Can you share that with our public here?
Well, certainly in the laboratory part, all of us in our clean white, we look like we're space creatures.
I love
some
it.
of us by size look more like snowmen, but so seeing the step-by-step version of how batteries are made. This is the laboratory that is there where the technology has been created by PowerCo. Right next door is the new Salzgitter battery plant, which is about a quarter the size of ours, basically, but it
Yep.
is mammoth. So that's how big ours is. And most of the equipment is now installed in it. The building itself is now done from a construction point of view. And most of the equipment is now being installed, and it should be up and running as a running battery plant by summer of this year. So we're getting to see what it will look like.
That's going to be phenomenal.
Right. Well, Brent says secondary plans are municipally managed, not privately managed. That's not truly correct. We always ask for the landowners to be involved in secondary plans, so we'll continue to do it that way. Of course, our planning department will also be involved.
Mm-hmm. So just for the people that are joining us a little bit later, we were talking about the snow plows and the names. So we're just going to review those. You got to get in. There's a link. If you go to the comments, you can see the link. And the snowplow names are Betty Whiteout, Control Salt Delete, Edgar Allan Snow, Flurious George, General Plows Chicken, Pushy McPush, Sir Plows a Lot, Slush Crusher, Snow Thornton, and the Abominable Snowplow.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to get snowplow names. I don't know why that is.
It's something we've talked about a couple years. To finally get to where we're picking some winners and stuff is really great. We've got a box mass in B minor going on. It's the Choral Connection that's putting it on.
Mm-hmm.
The Knox Presbyterian Church is the location. Friday, April 18th at 7:30 p.m. This is apparently a really great event last year, and tickets are certainly reasonable here. And go online to www.choralconnection.ca.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't the city go after the owner of the property at the land of the corner of Talbot and Ross to do something there? It's been an eyesore for over 10 years. Much like, yes, indeed, it's been sitting there since the old Ford dealership was taken down. As mayor, my 6 years as mayor, I've met with the owner more than once to ask him what's his plans with that piece of property. He owns some other property around town, but we have come up with no other way except we quit charging vacant land tax and start charging full tax on the land. We've done that, but there's not much more we can do. It is truly up to the owners of the land to do what they want to do with their own land. We've also started, certainly in the case of some of that vacant land, started searching for buyers. And then we would at least share them with the person who does own the land. So we're doing our best to try and fill that land. Brett says great location for intensification. Absolutely. Much like a lot of vacant land in the city of St. Thomas, is we need to use from an intensification point of view where we already have services like transit and grocery stores and banks. So we'd love to get that property and a couple other properties that owner owns. But again, that piece of property is also part of the secondary plan on the railway lands, and we've asked that owner to participate, and I don't know what his answer has been yet. As of now, I'd not heard that he wants to. Right?
And we've got the
will council leverage land value tax to incentivize development in the city? We already do. We use our community improvement plan money to incentivize different developments in our city. From industrial growth, we use different tax incentives to make sure that we're creating jobs and growth in our community. So yes, the answer is we'll do everything we can do to continue to look at development in our city and the housing needs in our city, and to try and add some affordability to some of the newest housing developments.
Got a shout out from Tony Bendel. He's saying, "Hi guys, haven't been on for a while. Hope you're all doing good. Waiting for CAA to come rescue me. So while I wait for a tow, what better way to wait than watch Mayor's Update?" Couldn't agree more, yes. Tony.
Well, unless CAA is watching Mayor's Update and they're not coming till after the show. So also if you are CAA and you're online watching Grayden and I, go get Tony.
He needs a ride.
Yeah.
We've got the Downtown Development Boards doing the Downtown Shop Hop, April 19th as well. from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you're going to meet the Easter Bunny from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the idea behind this is we give out gifts and lots of chocolate with the Easter Bunny and hope to get more people downtown visiting all the different vendors that we have in our business improvement area there. Oh, Fran's got
I like this, Fran. Thank you. What a great reminder. I love it where other communities have accepted zipper merging in a better way than. And while we have construction on some of our major roads again this year, of course, with First Ave right now and coming up the Fairview Talbot intersection, remind you to zipper merge. Keep 2 full lanes and take turns going. It makes the whole process go faster. I know you want to get mad at the guy who pulled up beside you, but it's not. Just take turns and get through the traffic backup as quickly as you can. And we've got some things going on Highbury. We're putting the second coat of cement in some of the islands and some of the roundabouts, and there'll be some painting and other coats of pavement coming up soon. So use this as a reminder to be polite.
Yeah, right? And we've got the booster station construction on Burwell, which will be coming up in May and June. So that's over by 1Password Park. And you're going to be able to hear all about that on the Beehives episode this week, which comes out tomorrow on Wednesday.
Right.
Also,
Brent says the city of St. Thomas does not have a land value tax. Well, you're right. We don't. We have property tax, and we have other ways of gaining the revenue that this city needs to run itself. And so far, it's been a pretty good way to do it. So we'll keep looking at other ways we could actually do some incentive taxation and perhaps get some of the empty land filled. But we'll continue to run the city in a positive way, in a growth mode with the way municipalities in Ontario have been asked to run it with property tax.
And speaking of positive changes, we've got the Fairview Bridge that's coming out, and there's going to be a pedestrian tunnel. Is that right? Underneath that bridge? So people are going to have easy access to go through there. Is that right?
Okay, there is a tunnel, of course, underneath there now. Trains used to go under there, but as that overpass comes down, it will be lowered, and there will be a pedestrian traffic under there that will be a connection of some of our trails, so that your active transportation lines and bike lanes and such aren't always on streets, but they're able to safely move around town using trails, and in this case, a tunnel under a busy road.
Got a comment from Doug Exner about the dam that's over by Waterworks. As you know, it's a bit rough around the edges, that one. He's saying, are we going to be removing that bridge anytime soon, or that dam?
I know we've had conversations with Kettle Creek Conservation Authority about it. Some of the ponds and waterworks would not then be, my understanding is, would not then be viable. There wouldn't be, in drier times, the ponds that are there, the lily ponds that are there. So I will defer that back. I know that Councillor Peters and I had a conversation about it not that long ago, right? So
we should give a shout out to the job fair that's coming up. We've talked about it before. We'll talk about it again. April 23rd at the Joe Thornton Center. There's going to be over 30 employers that are ready to meet you. And bring your resume, dress to impress. I think the city's providing free transport. Is that correct?
Yes, we are. Transit is free that day. That will get you to the job fair. We'd expect to see if there's about 1,000 people on EI or unemployed in our community. We'd love this. I'll see every one of them out at the job fair. And as we keep talking on here, if you're looking for a job in the future at one of these great new employers we're attracting to our community, make sure you're getting employed now and getting skilled up. So we'll talk in subsequent shows more about the skilled trainings and such that are needed, but being employed is a pretty important piece.
I've got a notification on the city's Facebook page as well about the study completion for the St. Thomas Water Reclamation Facility as well.
Yes. So that came through. There's now another study in place or an opening for conversation or comments, and I think that finishes by May 9th. So if you have conversation about the water reclamation project, the new water reclamation facility, that's your chance to have conversation.
And we were just talking about jobs. There's also some job posting for the city. There's a housing accelerator fund coordinator. It's a temporary full-time position.
Right.
Invasive species technician, weed inspector, gardener, airport grounds maintenance, road safety technologist, and sustainable transportation technologist. What's a sustainable transportation technologist?
That's a great question. I did not know that's been on the website this week or today because I've
Yep.
been away. I'm guessing it has to do with public transit.
Very cool. That's a great title. That's like a fantastic
Yeah.
title. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
I'm a sustainable transportation
Right.
technologist.
I'm certain if you go to the St. Thomas website and read the
Yes.
application for that, it'll have a better description than you and I can offer tonight as to what it is. But we post everything that's being hired at City Hall and connected to City Hall. So take a look.
Yeah.
Jobs
Oh,
available.
and the Arcadis podcast. So the mayor and I, we
Oh,
worked together
yes.
with Arcadis. Scott Arbuckle, who's the Canada Country Director for Arcadis, he came down to St. Thomas. We went onto the site. We did a tour, and we did an update. So if you have any
Yeah.
interest in how the plan has been coming together and what progress has been made, check out the podcast on Arcadis's channels. You can find it on like iPod, Spotify, any of theirs. And it's their better cities by design. And I'll pop in a link for that as well. But really, I mean, I'm biased, right? Because we worked on it together, but I think it's a phenomenal podcast.
Yeah.
And it really talks about the sustainable plan for the site from, you're taking the tax revenue that's going to be made from the site at PowerCo and using that to redevelop the brownfields on the rail lands, for example, or those rail lines that we're redeveloping, which is, I think it's really exciting. It's a great
And
thing.
many other places around town too. But to use some great future revenue, and we will have to wait a bit for the future to use that revenue. But that's the plan on growth in our community is increase industrial and economic growth so that we can do better things and more things in our community with it. But it was a great podcast with Scott, and thank you for taping it or filming it or whatever we call that these days. But
I know it's recording, I guess, digital recording.
Yeah.
And there was a cameo by Nathan Bachma, one of the engineers over at the Yarmouth Yard site.
Yes, and so we had a star on there, so it worked.
Don't get me going. I love it.
Tony Bendel asked, I haven't seen anything as to water main breaks. How did we do this past winter? Were breaks down in numbers? Yeah, I can only remember one or maybe two. And that is, and as cold as this winter was, that's a very great number. But that has a lot to do with the way we're now doing street repairs, complete street repairs, is as pipes get near their life cycle, that's when we do work on roads. And so many people say, well, why are you doing such a huge job on the road? Well, we don't just want to do pavement on the top. We want to do a complete street. When we do it, we do new curbs, new sidewalks, and all the pipes underneath. And so we look for the oldest pipes in town are the ones that are in the most danger of having a water break. So we go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm. And Fran's asking, are we going back to horses for transportation? Maybe.
I don't think so. No,
Don't
bring
rule
your
it out.
own. I think bring your own.
I grew up with horses as transportation.
Yeah.
Horse and buggy, draft horses on the farm. You talk to my dad, he's all for it. You want to do it? He'll tell you how.
Right. Oh, yeah, he's an expert.
Yeah. When I was growing up, he's like, this is the future. Everyone's going to be doing the horse transportation thing. And anyway, it hasn't worked out yet, but you never know. There's always a chance.
Dale's mentioned a number of things from concrete work that's needed on the west side of town, some painting and stuff that needs to be done. You've just told the Downtown Development Board chair, but I sure would love it if you put it on customer service, because when it gets there, then it gets to the right team that needs to come out and do it.
Mm-hmm. And we can certainly advocate for anything like that. Again, you've got a
Well,
private owner.
Now that you brought it forward to us, we'll also talk about it. But it is better to go through customer service so that it ends up in the department that will need to do the work. And there's a great team at customer service that makes sure that those are followed up on. And then a report comes back if we look for it, back through council to make sure our customer service requests are being followed up on. I'm fairly proud of where we've been able to take customer service in our community. And I know we asked a couple of weeks ago, we'll ask again, find a pothole, report it to customer service, tell them exactly where it is so that the next day someone can be out there patching it up.
Yeah. There's got to be some kind of a clever way to say spot it, pot it, spot, something like, I don't know. I can't, I've been working too many long hours to come up with something clever right now, but there's something there.
Right.
But we're over our time here, and I know you're late in the evening over there in Europe right now, and you're heading back
I'm
early in the morning.
Get on an airplane tomorrow and come home. So Stephanie, Soleil, and Ruben will be happy to see me back. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What's the status on the battery plant? That's why I've been in PowerCo in Germany talking about the logistics of shipping equipment and the starting of building and more suppliers for the plant. So that's what we're doing over here, is finding more jobs and more ways to get this moved on very quickly.
Mm-hmm. And Dale, I don't know if you noticed, but one of your suggestions for the snowplows came in, Pushy McPush. It's on the list.
Yeah. Okay, Dale, if it's not on you to report it, we'll try and remember that you did say something about it. And you're right, city crews do look at these things, but winter is just now finishing, and we'll get out and start doing the spring cleanup, and I'm sure more of the planter boxes on the west end will be noticed. So fantastic. Those that can, please report it to customer service.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. We're going to be signing off for another week. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Yes, we'll see you next Tuesday. We'll be home and we'll be together. Yeah. All right. Thanks.